Okay. All right. Yeah. So, come back after breakfast. No? Is that breakfast? After break, coffee break. Sorry. So, the way I thought we should do this is to make it interactive. We have been talking a lot, right? So, it's nice to get you guys to really, yeah, contribute. So, I have only 3 slides initially, where I talk about other indicators just to kind of take us away from fish, from the ocean a bit, just to see a few other indicators. And then I have about 4 questions that I'll pose to you, and then together we'll try to work through them. All right? Yeah. So, health indicators. Actually, I got my inspiration, or I became, my love for indicators actually comes from health indicators. Yeah. The day I went to a hospital and a nurse puts the temperature thermometer, reads the temperature within a minute, and she kind of has an idea of how healthy I am. That is a very powerful indicator, right? You don't need to open the human being and see every vein, right? You just take the temperature or take the high blood pressure, and you know something about the body. That is beautiful. That's the beginning of indicators. And this is what some of us are trying to do for the oceans and for fisheries and other sectors. The medical. So that's the first example here. And how do policymakers use this? Take life expectancy, for example. If you are the president of China or the prime minister of Guinea-Bissau, right, and somebody gives you the life expectancy of your kids, children born in your country by the time they are 1 year, and is really high, gosh, that can lead to action, right? Just knowing that information can generate a lot of action. So policymakers do look at this seriously. Obama is an example. Everywhere you look, they say 30 million Americans don't have health care. And they all go to the emergency hospitals, and it's costly. These are all indicators, and that, again and again and again, some president will say, enough of this. Let's do something, right? So then you stop in policies. So powerful, powerful stuff here. Second one, which is closer to me, economics, economic indicators, right? And we hear about them all over. And again, none of this is really good. GDP, gross domestic product, is one of the most criticized indicators in the world, really. And it is also one of the most used. It's so funny. Yeah, because it doesn't tell you everything, but it tells you something that is useful, right? And that is my relationship with indicators. So I look at many indicators, right? I don't look at one because I know none of the ones you have here will tell you all that you want to know. So you have to look at a collection. And so unemployment is very powerful. If you are president of a country and the unemployment is going up, you can almost be sure the end of you is coming if people can choose you, right, through elections. So consumer price index and so on and so forth. Yeah. So economic indicators are all over us in our lives. Yeah.
Why the GDP is heavily criticized? Can you give an example?
Oh, there are very good reasons. You hear all this. You hear this saying. Some Africans and Asians live on $1 a day, and everybody's saying, how can they do that? How can they do that? Half of the economy is not measured by GDP, right? You take care of your old grandparent, right? You don't send him or her to old people's homes, so it's not counted in GDP. So these are the kind of things. It's just narrow, and that's one. And another criticism is that if you spend money to solve let's say your house is burnt, right? That is a bad thing. But actually it's good for the GDP because you have to hire people to rebuild. So once you do more work, whether it's good or bad work, GDP is happy, right? So there are all those reasons, really good reasons to criticize this, but it still tells you how active your economy is, right? Which is a good thing, right? So, yeah. Okay. The third and last one, social indicators. Social indicators are quantitative measures that describe the well-being of individuals or communities, and are used worldwide to describe social phenomena, right? And many, especially our friend here, our anthropology friend here, yeah, these are the kind of things you do: well-being, livelihoods, and so on. So examples. And the UN has the one Human Development Indicators. Actually, one of the reasons they did this is actually to try to fill some of the gaps in GDP. So they say GDP doesn't measure everything. It's important, so it is in the human index, but you also have childhood education and others, so to make it broader measures of it. So you have that. Okay, these are my introductory things. Now it's time for you guys to talk. You've heard Keith talk about management and policy. So if we had some whiteboard or blackboards here, what I would have loved is to say, when you hear somebody say fisheries management, what comes to your mind? What does it mean? You've heard a lot and you know a lot, but let's just discuss it as a group, right? So who wants to open the floor? What is fisheries management? Don't think too much. Don't think about definitions. As soon as you hear that, what comes to your mind? That's what I want to hear. A keyword or something. Right.
I can maximize take while sustaining stock.
Okay, you want to maximize take, whilst you sustain the stock. What does that sound? That sounds like an objective, right? Or what do you think? So that's why you want to do, and you set up your management to help you achieve that, right? Will that be okay? Any more ideas? Just please talk. Say something.
Certain species of fish you can catch.
Certain.
Specify certain kind of fish you can catch or cannot catch.
Very good. So a management system will tell you, and our dear friend here actually did it. Yeah, you had some species you cannot catch, some you cannot take some size. So management defines those kind of things. Yeah. No more.
I will learn from his ideas. Input, output. So something is there in the sea, something is coming out of the sea. We have to maintain what is there inside. At the same time, we have to get the. So the input output control is what is known as fisheries.
Yeah, so management has to do with input output control. All right. Right? No. Okay. You were trying to say something. Yeah.
Fish intake should be safe for the people.
For the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So management, that the goal is to make sure there's fish for
It's
the
safe
people.
for intake.
Oh, safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no pollutants and all that in there. So management thinking about the amount of pollution that goes into the water, therefore into the fish, and therefore into our bellies, right? So you want to watch that. You don't want too much of that, all right? Or in fact, you don't want any if you can. Yeah, Hada.
We were talking about a lot of management of people and how to make the people conserve the fisheries and do something that is also right so that it can also be implemented.
Very good. So fisheries management is actually people management. Is that a nice way to paraphrase you? Yeah. So we're managing people, not the fish. Yeah. Yeah. So and I mean, many people. This is a line social scientists we like to talk about a lot, and a few biologists, some biologists actually agree. Also, you are managing people, not the fish.
A sustainable use in the long run.
Sustainable use in the long run. How far is the long run? I'm joking. Yeah, sustainable use for the long run. You really want this fish to continue year in
Yeah,
year.
because it involves a lot of people also.
Yeah,
It not just involves the fish, it involves the people's lives who are surrounding this.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
have to sustain it so that you have to sort of protect them also.
Yeah, and future generations come into play. So you want us to have some fish, but not all of it. The future generation should also have some fish.
Yeah.
People have told me that we don't need to worry because they all like to eat jellyfish like our Chinese friends, right? Jellyfish is good, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Yes, but some of us think at least you give them the option. People have come after me and say, "Oh, the future generation may like jellyfish." I say, "May like, okay, that is true, but why do you want to confine them to only jellyfish?" That doesn't sound fair to me. Yeah. So, any more ideas? Yeah. Yes. Sustainable GDP. So you are managing fisheries for sustainable GDP. That's a bit of a tall order, right? Yeah. Or you want to manage fisheries so it can contribute to GDP in a sustainable way. Yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, I think that is possible, and it's related to some of the points about managing for the long run, right? For many countries, fish doesn't contribute more than what? 1% of the GDP. Again, that's one reason people really some don't believe GDP, because the value of the fish is not fully captured, right, for various reasons. So it's in Canada, we're talking about 0.5%, Alida. DFO, what's DFO's estimate of GDP contribution from fisheries? Really low, about 0.5%. But if you go to Vancouver, you go to the First Nations, Aboriginal people and Indigenous people, they will chase you with a stick if you tell them the fish is so lowly valued, because it's their life, right? In many the coastal communities. So, any more on fisheries management? Yes.
For me, it's about identifying and understanding the key players, how they interact among them, and how they interact with the resource.
So a good management system should be able to do that, right? To understand the dynamics, the key players, and how they interact with the fish, because that is how you can design a useful management system. Otherwise, the good management will be on the table and the people do their own thing, right? So, yeah.
I think fisheries management is seen as important because it provides food and it provides livelihood. And as everyone, most people said, it has to be sustainable. So just thinking about the exponential growth of the population, then the fish have to have an exponential growth in population to feed that population too, to feed the human population too. And other than that, I think fisheries management is not restricted to just the input and output of and control of fisheries, but also it also encompasses like even until the watershed and the mountains, since sedimentation can also affect the waters. I mean, the ocean is like a basin where everything from the land feeds. Goes in. So proper management of the land is also essential in sustaining fisheries.
Yeah. So here we are. Aya, right? You forced me to really say I want to write a paper with you on population. Now she's taking all of us, right, out of just the fisheries box and linking us to the larger environment and policy and so on. And I think actually, if we're really going to solve fisheries problems, we have to also look outside of fisheries. Fisheries itself cannot do it. I don't think so. For example, our dear professor here said that you need to reduce fishing pressure and the fish will come more and we will take it. How do you do that? If you don't think of the whole economy, because you have to take people out of the fishery or fishing effort out, what will they do? But if you coordinated, you can move them to other sectors or encourage them to move. So we need more system thinking. I agree with you for many reasons. Yeah. Okay. So don't just think of only fish to solve fish problems. More? You're exhausted on management? Now, the next question is, what is fisheries policy? Remember Keith's talk, right? There was quite a lot was on management and policy. So whilst you think what is going in your head and you relate to some of the lectures yesterday, what is policy? Are they different? Management and policy, are they different? Trade-offs. So policy deals with trade-offs, yeah, the policy people.
Policy is a guideline.
is the guardian.
It's a guideline,
Oh, guideline, yeah, yeah,
but it's not what we do. It's in place. We can make it, we can propose it.
yeah,
It's not what we do.
yeah, okay.
Management is what we do.
All right, I think that is good. Do you agree with her? So policy is something you want to do or something you agree to do. Politics, a policy about fisheries management. But the management itself is the action, right? Yeah. Keith, is that a good one? Yeah. Yeah. So that is the you see I kept referring you to Keith's talk and all the talks you've had up to now. The idea of this feedback session is actually I'm trying to check out how much you remember of what we have said. I do that in my classes. The first minute I say, tell me the thing you remember from the last class. We take 10 points. We just go around. And usually that's the thing you remember in 5, 10 years. All the other things I said, just in and out and gone, right? So yeah. So it's really Keith's talk that we are looking at here. Excellent definition of policy. All right, you want to add more on policy? No? Seem to be happy. Okay, so you've seen this graph before. So I'm just trying to say something connected to management and policy here. If you look at this graph, the way I see policy to start with is that if you accept this model, and there are arguments about it, right? Then if you have a fishery country, China, your fisheries in your EEZ, if you could model all this as just one graph, you know, so this is a representation of your fishery, or you have one China fish, and then you draw this graph, right? That's what it means. Depending on your objective, so if your goal is to maximize economic rent, so that is your goal, then fisheries policy is all the things you do in your laws and acts and what the government say, or even communities, how you plan to really achieve your goal. And the laws you develop to back you do that. Because if you don't have any policies and management, you won't be here, right? You want to be here, but you won't be. Why? Because if you're here, there's more money to be made, more people will come into the fishery, push you that way. This is the only place you end up, right? Because here, no money to be made. If people are economically rational, I need to put this. Thank you. Yeah. Is it working? Yeah. So if your policy, if your objective is this, then you design your policy to help you achieve that. And once you design that policy, you need a management system to put it in place and action. So that's that. On the other hand, if your goal is to maximize the fish you catch, that's the same thing, right? Because you won't stop here. Again, there's a gap between here, so it will attract more people, and you move away. So this figure I brought it up just to illustrate. Essentially, your policies are to help you achieve your objective, whatever they are, and that these are laws, things you discuss in Parliament and among you and decide on. Canada has a Fisheries Act, so people who care about fish and habitat are always looking at that. This is what we agree as a society to do with our fisheries and our fish system. And people can take the government to court if it is not, right? So that's what policies that are set help you to do, right? Then the management is how you get this going, all right? Does that make sense to you? You want to add or comment on this? This is really supposed to be dynamic, please. It's supposed to be interactive, so I want you guys to talk. What price do I have to set to get you guys to jump at this? Huh? He's laughing. Lucas, if you laugh too much, I will go after you. You remember what you did to me? He's aware of that, yeah. Yes. So you want to add something to management and fisheries, and this makes sense? Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Now, what I want us to do here is you guys identify some key economic and social indicators of fishing by yourself. Just give me. I really wish we had a board to write this. In social and economic indicators of fishing. Give examples, right? Do you know any? After all that you had throughout the week almost? Number of jobs, yes. That's an indicator, right? It's a social indicator. Fishing jobs, yeah, of course, yeah. Population, population of people, yeah. So number of fishermen, yeah. Is that what you mean? Or the population of China? What do you really mean? Oh, Korea, sorry, I know. Yeah. Coastal area. So the population of the coastal area, she wants to know. And that is probably because you want to know where the pressure is coming, yeah? So how many people are hanging on the coast in your country can also tell you something about the amount of pressure that your fish stocks will face, yeah. Any more? Yes. The price of fish, yes, that's good. The price of fish. If you are fish, this is my advice to you. If you are fish, don't be too pricey, okay? You are in danger, really. And yeah, and you know how I learned this? There was a few, one of my master's thesis, she was finishing at Heda, she was doing tuna. In the evening, I took my little boy, he was then 6 years or so, we went to the office, right, because I wanted to do something. So I was looking at the thesis and she had tuna species and different prices. The guy was looking over my shoulders and he said, "Daddy, what? 40,000, the price of one fish?" I said, "Yes." And then his face brightened. He said, "Whoa, so if I have 5 of them, I'll be a rich man." Fish is in trouble, right? So there you go. So, so it's an indicator, right? So, yeah. Number of boats, yeah, about capacity, right? Yes, that is really true. And even if they are not using them now and they are sitting at the coast, latent effort, that means there's likely to be pressure on the politician there to let this thing happen, get to action, yeah. Infrastructure, technology, very good. So they're coming.
The ratio between small-scale and large-scale fisheries?
The relation between small scale and large scale, especially with respect to the social aspects, as Ingrid showed us, right? That table, you saw that? If you want more people to work in the fishery, then you better have small-scale fisheries. That's what that data tells you, right? If that's your goal, and so on and so forth, yeah.
Fish and its processing, industries based on fishing. There are other industries which are based on fishing.
Yeah. Oh, very good. So you are talking about what we call the multiplier effect, yes. The added value, because
Filling, canning, drying.
Exactly. Retail, restaurant. How many of you went to a restaurant yesterday, right? Seafood restaurant. I did. And then you see, so that is all. As we were eating the fish, we're adding value on the fish, right? So you have to capture all that. Yeah, excellent.
Socioeconomic indicators of the fishermen, like their literacy rate, the housing, the human development index, all those related factors also will throw the light
on how the fishing goes. Yes, I agree with you. The poverty level, for example, has been shown to be very important. It links to discounting. This is getting interesting, yeah? So I'll come around, yeah? So we take him and take here, right? Yeah. Fish, yes, fish consumption per capita. Changing? To other, yeah. If you can do that, if you have an economy that can absorb people from the primary sector, that usually help. A few years ago, we did a paper about buyback schemes, and I interviewed Keith as one of those we interviewed. And he said something like this: we had a policy of ITQs, so I hope I don't mess up what you said. We had a policy of ITQs, and it worked well, mainly because I believe the economy was booming, right? So the fishers who were displaced had something to do very easily, right? So that made the thing to work. If it was the opposite, you might just get riots, actually, right? So this is a good one. who was trying? This guy was trying, and then you. Increasing number of stakeholders. Yeah, that can be an issue, right? Uh, huh? The protein intake of the population from the fishery. We like more protein from the fish. Again, the fish, everything being equal. Now, I actually tried hard to motivate you to talk, so I can't say anything now.
Isn't this a loss that the non-commercial fish are also getting caught? And I don't know where it
The
is.
non-targeted fish. So she's talking about bycatch and discards, and that is an issue. Yeah. But in many parts of the world, like in Asia and parts of Africa, we don't throw anything away, right? Yeah, isn't it? In China, you make soup or whatever, you know.
You don't throw anything away.
Yeah, in some places, but in some places they really do throw things away, and the profit, yeah. Price, cost, and profit, they are all related. Excellent.
Rashid, there may be more than
The gender index, the proportion of male and female in the fishery, and that is a big one. As we saw again, Ingrid, you had that in your graph. For small-scale fisheries, it's larger women than the commercial ones.
If you keep on going on discussing the economic and social indicators, I think there are thousands, for example, from individual level to the regional and international level.
Yeah.
For example, we'll be discussing about export and import, consumption and production, and then the supply and demand.
Yeah.
And then if you talk about the individual level, like for example, what is the income for that person,
Yeah.
how many families are employed, or what's the population of the fishing community, and the education level of the fishing community, the health level of the health, and how they contribute to the community, and then the social networking between the community and the individuals, and the institutional level. So it is like linkage till the from individual to an international level.
Yeah,
So there are like maybe thousands of indicators.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, and that is true. I mean, so what do you do as a scientist? Do you go out to collect thousands of them? Tell me. How do you do, especially anthropologists?
So for example, what I did, like I have not worked closely with the fishing community. Like I've been working on the disaster risk management and how the people are cultured to disasters.
Yeah.
And I have just done some one case study in Kiribati and in Fiji Islands, how people are like where they are residing. Discussing about the flood impacts on people. So looking at the lower level, the flood-prone area, and the higher grounds. And then I'm looking at how their income, health, they're like livelihood capitals discussed with you earlier. So how these are like hindering or deteriorating their lifestyle, or how they are like upgrading. I mean, how the fishing industry is upgrading their lifestyle.
Yeah. So the key point is that there are many indicators, and differently you can have individual based indicators, and you can have higher level ones, and that is well taken. Yeah.
And with this how like a household is able to manage introducing policies without help from the outside or like institutional or experts, like how they are trying to cope with certain like if they have disasters in the country, and how they are coping with their own knowledge. So these are like, everything is linked. So it's like huge social and economic indicators, like there will be thousands. And then
so okay, everything is linked. That is true.
Yeah.
But you have to still do some studies, right? Like we all do. So I think the beauty of being a scientist is actually taking all this thing, which is all linked and so complicated, and finding a way to say something reasonable. And that is what we are talking about, okay? Do you still want to talk? There's a quota,
yes,
you know?
and if still, the thing is that there will be loophole. There will be some loopholes in the calculation.
Always there are loopholes. There's no question about that. Okay, somebody else? Can help. Can you please explain how that works? That's interesting. Technology. Yeah, so she's saying the use of cell phones, high tech essentially. Yes,
in India, we have the small fishermen, they take the mobile phone with them. If the marketing facility is more in one place, And if the demand is more in one place, they will go and land their fish there in
Yeah,
that. They will not come to the place from where they have started. They will go to the next place where the demand is more. They will go land their fish there, sell it off, and come with more money.
Yeah, yeah.
That is another thing.
I'm sure many of you have read this in the media, actually, where fishers in small villages in Africa, parts of Asia, Latin America, with the coming of the cell phone, they are able to capture more of the value of their fish than before, doing exactly that. So they fill their boat, they call a number of buyers, and then
they have their own network of buyers and all those things.
So technology, huh?
And they use the life-saving equipments also. Life-saving equipments also they will take with them.
Yeah,
that is another thing.
Yeah, thank you. Bev, you want to? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They'll go out and they'll search, and then they'll call each other and say, I can see the island, I can see the resort, I can see this tree, and then they come together to find.
Yeah, to find the fish. So as always, the technology can be good for the fisher and maybe a little bit bad for the fish. And yeah, you know, and that's how it is, right? So you can find the fish more easily. You can fish at less cost. You can get a better price, you know. So if you have a good management system, actually all those could be good, right? But if it is open access, that could actually take you.
Another thing I just remembered.
Go after you, yeah.
Some real-time data. There's some state governments, small governments, which keep monitoring real-time data, which they provide to fishermen. It could be about the storms, or it could be about productivity, having more blooms and more swarms and more fish catch, and giving real-time data, providing the fishermen with.
Yeah. You mean the technology?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But this is.
No, that's good.
I want to add, like, if you go to a fisherman's village, you can count the number of hospitals, number of banks, number of transport facility that is available in that area. That is also an indicator of the fishing.
So infrastructure, right? Development in the area, yeah. The more easy it is to get to the ocean and fish, then yeah. All right. So there are many indicators, as we're reminded, and so now what do you do? Let's say you are a manager. You're a manager and you get some information, right? For example, the technology one. You get information that somebody has counted the number of cell phones, the growth in number of cell phones in a small fishing community. And you get that information. What do you think you can do with it as a manager or policy maker? So what I'm trying to say is you get some data about some indicator, and you are sitting. You are the policy maker or manager. How do you react to that?
Before you do anything, you have to be aware of the limitations of the indicator and possible feedbacks that are false signals that the indicator could be representing. And then once you sort through that, you can start making decisions.
Fantastic. So, you know, if you are a policymaker who really knows what you're doing, that's what you do, right? You don't just pick an indicator and implement it right away, right? So you have to do some working through, like he has just described. But some will just grab it and do something with it, you know, sometimes, yeah. So what I thought we'll do that is actually to look at how you can turn these things into policy. And again, Keith has talked a lot about that. So what I have here is a host of data, and I'm going to ask you what you do with that, okay? And I've put the citations there, so if you want to follow up and check the database. So catch. So imagine that you are a policymaker in a country where the only data you have is catch. What will you do with that? Or will you do anything with that? Huh? So you say, we need some more data. Fair enough. That's a good one. And then you go to sleep, right? You go to sleep. And when you the policymaker, is waiting for data, what do you think the fishers are doing? they are fishing, right? So this is really a very important and a big discussion in the literature, right?
How we can see the catch is reflecting the abundance in the water.
So he says that he would, instead of what you say, wait for data, he will use the cat to make some guesstimate about the abundance in the water. What do you have to say to him? Eh? I didn't hear. You need fishing, but you don't have it. You don't even have one stock assessment person in this community. So there's no fishing effort. They even feel it's a taboo to count the boats in the village. There's some places you don't count people, right? You know that? So what do you do? Okay, all right. So it's now moved, right? It's waited for 5 years and no data is coming. So he's begun to revise his thing. He says, okay, maybe I should start calculating the rate of change of this catch and see what can I learn from it, if anything, right? So that's the thing, because managers don't have the luxury to wait for 5, 10 years until we train all the stock assessment people we need in order to manage the fishery. So you do what you can with what you have. That's my take, and I've said this in the literature. Yeah. Okay.
For example, if we see that from the catch data, the stock is going down, so we can think about something alternative, like we can promote the case culture, maybe some specific species. For many, for example, the sea bass or other species is going down.
Yeah.
In that case, we can make some policy or adapt catch case culture of specific fish. Then the we can minimize the catch.
Yeah. So, but how do you know the abundance in the sea with just the catch? Can you know that? Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Maybe if we get the catches data, then we can calculate the stock. How was the stock? Is it going down or going up, or is normal or sustainable? We can know from the catch.
You can know from the catch.
We can try to do it.
Yeah, but you see, you can if the catch is going down.
Yeah.
It may be just that people have stopped fishing hard. They take more holidays. They are not going to fish, and so there may be a loss of fish in the ocean, but the catch is declining. The mean size of the fish. Now, I told her there's no any data. Now she's talking about mean size of the fish. But you can get that from the catch, maybe, right? That's why you're saying, okay. Yeah, you can learn that from the catch, yeah. Catch data with the profit. It's hard to get to the profit. You don't have any extra data, yeah. So this is just, oh, please go ahead, yeah.
Data, you can look at the catch composition of the you can look at the catch composition of the species. You can also, maybe you know especially where the catch come from, so maybe you can ask fishermen if catches have been changing regionally, so maybe to identify local depletions, only catch.
So okay, the first part where you say you look at the catch composition,
of the
that is just
groups.
using the catch data you have. So if you look there, what do you see? How will that help you? Just we'll come back to your second.
Maybe we can look at demersal species, bottom fish, and maybe we could look at pelagic species and see if there has been a decrease on demersal species, and maybe we see an increase in pelagic species, indicating that there has been a change in the species composition in the area.
Okay, all right. So you try to mine that catch data in whatever way you can to learn something about the fishery. That's all.
Maybe there is one group that is disappearing, so fishermen are changing into other different groups.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's make this a bit interesting. Now, in addition to catch data, somebody has estimated effort data for you. So you are the policy maker. Now you have the catch, you have effort. How do you feel as a policy maker who wants to do something good for the fishery?
First we'll note the graph you have shown.
Huh?
First we'll note the graph you have shown.
Yeah.
Then we will see whether it is in MSY or MEY or whether it's all fish.
All right. So if you have catch and you have effort, you are a lot better, isn't it? A lot better, because then you can calculate CPU and all that, and then you start learning more about the fishery. You are a lot better. So you are the man with two data points. You have your effort and your catch, and she has only catch. You are really a lot better off, isn't it? You want me to switch that? Yeah. Okay. So the ex-vessel prices, somebody mentioned that. And then you have fishing costs is important. You have fishery subsidies. We talked a lot about that yesterday. Fishing jobs, total expenditures by recreational fishers. If you are looking at recreational fishing, you want to know. So if you have a country where people are spending more and more in recreational fishery, it tells you something, or if it's declining. Then added value. Somebody mentioned that all the processing. This is a way you can capture that. So these are some references that you can follow up if any of this. And we have data actually. These data, some of them are estimated, very controversial. Some of them are data we got from the literature, so we can refer to the source. And yeah, so we're doing all this to hopefully help policymakers and managers to manage their fisheries better. And we do this globally, so we don't leave any country behind. No, we don't. Yes?
An observation, Rashid.
Yes.
Knowing your background, your bias,
Yes.
it's apparent to me that most of those indicators are actually economic indicators
Yes.
and not really social indicators.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I wonder whether you would like to sort of just share your thoughts with us as the additional challenges on the social side.
Yeah. No, that is a good question, you know. So this thing here exposed me really, as an economist. You know, this you would agree is closer to social, right?
A bit.
So that's probably one of the only ones, actually. Yeah. You see, and I'm actually a very broad-minded economist. I mean, most economists will just give you only this one. Which one? Where is the profit? It will only be profit. I didn't even have profit. My God. Yeah, these two, right? But many of them will not even tell you what the price is or the cost is, the profit, and that's it. It tells you everything. So you are right. There is a lack of social indicators here, and that is partly because really I'm not a social scientist in that sense. And but many of them came out from the discussion here.
They did.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people
Yeah, many
mentioned
of them
social
came
indicators.
out. Yes.
But even with fisheries jobs, it's like the idea of sustainability. You have, thousands of people, say in South Africa, are employed in small fisheries, and yet they're living in a the wages are very poor, there's no options. So is that good? No, it's a rhetorical question, of course.
No, it is. It's a good one also.
So there are all these other dimensions that and that kind of information is very difficult to collect. They require very systematic study. One of our big challenges is that social dimension, not just in fisheries, of course, and all aspects of ecosystem services. How do we actually measure the social dimensions in a systematic way that enables us to really say something that's useful?
Yeah. Yeah, one point you raise, which is really important, is number of jobs alone don't mean much, right? I mean, so you're employing everybody and they're having $1 a day, so what, right? It really doesn't matter. So you want to do the per capita income, and so you have an idea how livable these things are. One social indicator I've worked on actually is the poverty level, poverty index. I even tried to develop an index for that, where you look at the poverty level in a country, coastal villages, countries, and then you can then see the likely pressure that is going to come out of that. So, okay. Yeah, so you are raising interesting questions on more work to do, and there are social scientists that are more and more actually pushing these ideas, yeah.
No, that's right. And there's a whole concept of well-being, for example, is one of the approaches that is trying to embrace a much wider perspective.
Exactly. Livelihood approaches, Eddie Allison and co, right? Yeah. Benny, yeah. So there are a crop of new social scientists, because I call them new because they really don't fear to do quantitative work, right? So they try to put numbers, and that's very helpful. Yeah. Okay. You talked about, you said something which triggered something in my mind. About the jobs don't say much in themselves. Yeah, you need much more. And I try to make that point. You shouldn't use one or a few indicators. You should try to use as many and different dimensions of them to help you get the full picture of what you're looking at. And you know what? Indicators are no religion, you know. You can have more than one of them, you see? They don't get the joke, oh gosh. Yeah, you can have more than one indicator. More than one model, right? It's not like religion, right? But actually, there's a group in Nigeria, in the same family, you have Christians and Muslims, brother and sister. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, she can't believe that, yeah, but it's true. So, okay. Any more comments here? Yes.
Indicators is always, the importance of indicators is context specific. You mentioned it that an important social indicator will be poverty levels, and I was just thinking for economic indicators from your experience, what has been an indicator that you think it's important to track?
All in all.
In general, yeah, from your experience.
Oh, yeah, I would really like to track a number of them, not just one.
I mean, there's thousands of them, but from your experience, like 1, 2, 3 that you think has been tracking.
I'm going back into EcoPath, EcoSpace here. There is something called the policy option. The policy option in that, and that was, the programming was led by Carl Waters. And in there we had very few indicators for each of the dimensions: ecology, economics, and social. And we got really bounced around by social scientists. And in there, for the economics, we just had profit, right? Which means you have your cost and your price. And the discount rate, I haven't added the discount rate. So we have that in. That's good for economics. And for social, you know, the only variable we had there was number of jobs or income of people. Because our argument is that actually a lot of the social problems we have in this world is because many of us don't have livable income. If you give people good jobs and enough income, many of the social problems will just vanish. You agree?
There's a bigger one, population.
Oh, population. They like this population here, huh? And what do I do with population? Yeah. Yeah, population makes it really tough to move the incomes.
Population, lesser the number of jobs you need.
You mean the less?
If the population is high,
Yeah.
all the problems are related to population. You have to feed more people, you have to give more people jobs, you have to cater to different health. So I think population is the problem. It's at the root of most of the
Yeah, very good. You've qualified it most. Does anybody disagree with her? No, really. He doesn't think, yeah.
Because if fishes
Time.
are
How are we doing time?
same, like if we take population as fish, there is no fish, there is need of management. So there are no people, why should we manage? The problems are inherent. We have to live with the problems and bring solutions for them.
Yeah.
Not reducing the population as such through some means.
So population is the root cause mostly, and population is not?
Not the basic. There will be problems even the population is less also.
Yeah.
So it's not like blaming the population as such as a problem. We have to find solutions for them.
Mm-hmm. This will be a big, nice debate. You want to join, Eric? I see you're looking. You don't want to try this, right? Yes, Alida.
So with a population of 30 million, which is less than some of the cities here in China, we managed to crash our stocks on the east coast of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't due to population pressure.
Yeah.
Due to market pressure, due to profit greed, shall we say, and an incomplete understanding of what was happening in the oceans and the fish stocks. So there are many dimensions to that, and you've studied this problem yourself. So, but it's not purely population pressure.
Yeah,
So, and certainly in some systems, that's a very important contributing factor, but it's not the only factor when you're trying to sort of build what's happening globally.
Fantastic, yeah. So,
I want to put one more proof for that.
One.
Because in China, because there was population pressure. I'll take the example of China. They had a policy of restricting the number of childs.
Yeah.
But because that didn't solve the problem, now they are going for increasing the population
number.
by having more children. There is a relaxation in the
Is
policy.
that true? Is that true?
Yes, today I read in the newspaper.
Oh, today. Okay, it's very current. You read it today in the newspaper, so it's true. Who wrote the newspaper? Yeah. Okay. So I have a view on this actually, and I always try to remind people. You know, there was a time we had a big meeting in Washington, and everybody was just talking about population. And I raised my hand and said, population is part of the problem. There's no question about that. When you have too many people, you have to do the things you do. But I think another big problem is consumption per capita. Consumption per capita. You just cannot forget that and say it's only so. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Keith, you want. Oh yes. You know, Keith, you know what? I agree with you actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought, I thought that was a very good question. Like, what would you choose if you only could choose a few? And I think number of jobs is actually a very bad one. If that's the only one you're going to use, I mean,
no.
Sustainability, I think, and if you want to keep on numbers of jobs, you've got to at least somehow relate the quality of those jobs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To say the quality of the other jobs in that society, because that's actually what drives social, social sustainability.
Absolutely. I mean, that was what I said. If people have a job and they have $1 a day, so a month, so what does that mean? So we are in agreement. There's no question about that. And actually, in those models, the ecosystem, the policy search we told you, if your goal is to maximize employment, you crash the fishery. You employ a lot of people for a few years, and the whole fishery goes, and all the jobs go with them. So that is clearly not. If you just want to maximize jobs, you don't go anywhere, and this has been demonstrated again and again. Yeah. So, yeah.
Just in agreement with that. It's always interesting when people can want to create more jobs, because you can think about technology as a way. Shouldn't we want to minimize jobs and the amount we have to work to be happy? Like, just making more jobs.
Yeah.
Shouldn't progress be having to work less and still sustain happiness?
Yeah, that's nice. You know, that's nice. Yeah. You know, the only problem you have there is that if the income of people, if you are paid nothing to work, then your model is really a good one, right? If you are paid nothing to work, then who will work? We all go and swim. Actually, some of us will work because we don't know what else to do. But the problem is that people need incomes to survive. So if you can give people free money, I think many will go to the beaches and have fun. So you see what I'm trying to say? And that's the problem we have with the debate about the 1% and the 99%. So you have technology. The Facebook guy, what's his name? Zagawa. Yeah, I mean, he created Facebook, links us up, very useful in many ways. He's a $100 billion guy, and there are people in California who don't earn 30 million. Some of them don't have jobs. So you have that also.
Definitely, so if you, like, through mechanization or whatever it means, it takes less work and less effort to produce enough
More,
so
yeah.
that people can be happy.
Only if they can afford to buy the food. You see the other side of it, right? Don't you see that somebody wants to come in? I see. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Just very quickly, I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, people have actually tried, well, they've developed the happiness index.
Yeah.
And so that's another way of coming to the social side of things. But the interesting thing that they found when they started to use it was that actually a bit difficult to interpret, because some people are very happy with very little,
no matter what,
and some are very unhappy with a lot.
Yeah. The concept of happiness is something I I also struggle with. I was in India last year, and people kept saying, you know, why are we worried? Poor people are happy, and I was boiling, you know. What do you want them to do? To die or to cry all 24 hours? You try to be happy given your condition. So that happiness thing, I have a struggle with that personally. In fact, I think you shouldn't be happy. Oh, you shouldn't be too happy. I mean, the problem in many communities is that people are happy too quickly. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, you're happy too quickly. So you allow your health system to just crash and you are happy. No, you shouldn't be happy when you don't have hospital services in your village. Right? You should push for change, right? So this really amazed me. And it's because of my background, right? You go to a town in Nigeria, they're happy. So what? The gutters are dirty, the people are sick, and you are happy. So don't be happy. You know, so this is really dear to me. So okay, happiness. But actually, I'm a happy man. You can see it, right? Yeah, sometimes it sounds like an oxymoron, right? It's, yeah. And the thing is, if you have needs, basic needs, right, you need to be unhappy to fix them. You know this, right, in our communities. At our universities, we're always arguing and quarreling, trying to improve things, right? But if you are too relaxed, you don't solve any problem. For me, that is where this is all, you see me shaking, right? This is where it's coming, guys. Be unhappy a bit. Solve problems.
Well, maybe happiness isn't everything either.
Yeah, good man, yes.
So there's more to life than just being happy.
Yeah. Why should, yeah, what is that? I have a friend here, yes.
Sorry, it's not just how you're feeling, like moment to moment.
Yes.
Like
Oh, gosh.
you have a smile on your face.
Ingrid, how are we doing? Good? Yeah. Happiness also varies from person to person. Actually, you know, let me give you one example. Students will come to me weekend, they come to office, and they see me working. They say, Rashid, why are you here? Go have a life. I said, what life? This is my life. This is what I love to do, right? So I'm happy working on Sunday. And you are happy going to the beach on Sunday. Beautiful, huh? You know? Anyway, guys, we should probably stop, right? Ingrid, before I really get super happiness, yeah, but I love to be happy, of course, I do. But when something is not working, I want to fix it, and then I become unhappy a bit. When you solve it, you're happy a bit, and then you get sad because it gets bad again. Oh. Exactly. Oh, don't worry, be happy, everything is fine. You are being, the politicians are taking all the money, be happy. No, don't be happy. Go after them. So, okay. Yeah, oh guys, yeah.
I think there is also one important indicator of social health is the difference between the poorest and the richest people. Yeah. That might be the good indicator for the social happiness.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's an additional one. Yeah. Guys, be happy. Okay. The thing is, you can be happy and not happy at the same time. In fact, I may share you an article. I really follow the debate on happiness. I read one in Science or Nature recently. I will send that to you. I mean, where people studying this and showing how being too happy can really be bad, okay? Sometimes. Okay. I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Yeah.